Hello, how are you? Apparently, I've been told by my very dear friend Michelle that this is my 1000th video. Who'd have thought it? Yeah, I've actually uploaded a few more that aren't live yet, that aren't going to be live for a couple of weeks. Is this a good picture? I don't know. I'm on a slightly newer device at the moment that isn't actually compatible with this app, and so it's probably not going to go too well. So I can't even say it. My 1000th video, bit of a tongue twister, is yeah, I'm not sure whether this is going to be working out. I have actually made another video yesterday, which is for Halloween. It is on my Patreon channel, if anyone wants to see it. Any of my Patreon subscribers can see it already. Then it's going to go to the Halloween Hootenanny on Facebook, which Fire Donkey Productions are doing. And then it will be live probably about the 29th. So it will be a proper Halloween thing. It is puppets. My hair is wet. Sorry about it. It's looking a bit scruffy. It's got puppets and bears. Whoops. I'm trying to get this right so it's not holding it up. Puppets and bears, and it's a slightly parody thing. It's not for children, definitely not safe for children, but it is it has got puppets in it. Scary puppets, which, as we all know, puppets aren't to be toyed with, really. Yeah, it's a good picture. Anybody that's here, my 3 people that are here, is this picture all right? It's I'm trying to hold it up here, but it's not really working. I bought a case for this thing, but it's not really working. It was on sale on Amazon last week, and it came. I ordered one for my mum, which is not going to come till December, but mine came already, which is interesting. But yeah. Oh, 2 people, nobody. Anyway, the one that's going to be on, my flatmate saw it earlier and he said, "What's wrong with you? And what did I just see?" So maybe it's not for everyone. But the other people that have seen it, who are my mum and the people that I submitted it for the Halloween Hootenanny, appreciated it. Some people appreciate me. Not everybody. I'm obviously an acquired taste. But there you go. What can you do? Sigh deeply. Oh no, am I losing my voice? Hello! Llandrindod. I used to work sort of half there. I was in Brecon, but I did sometimes go to. There was a Crown Court there. So yes, hello Philip. Yes, there was a Crown Court there, and I definitely covered at least one case there. And maybe it wasn't a Crown Court. It was a court, and I parked there, and I went across the road, and I covered things. It will be great, Michelle. Thank you. It will be great. My video will be great. It will be great. I'm talking about, I made a Halloween video, which my flatmate saw and did not like at all, which was a bit of a downer because the 3 people that had seen it before that were like, "Wow, that's amazing. That's so funny. That's so good. Haha, so creepy and funny." And then my flatmate was like, "What?" So I'm like, "Oh, okay." The thing is, with criticism, you can get 1,000 million really good things that people say, and one person says something bad, and it's like, well, that's all you hear. It's rubbish now. I'll just go away and hide because that one person has said something bad. I don't know whether that's just me. Yeah. So doesn't matter how many good things you hear. If one person doesn't like it, that's the end of the world. The end of the world. Yeah, it might just be me. So yeah, I'm in work until, well, there's a half term next week, and I don't know what's happening with the situation at the moment. I know in Wales they're locking down for 17 days or something completely. Now here we've just gone into tier 2. What does that mean? I don't know, because my next door neighbours, I was going to see this puppet movie I made yesterday. I was going to make it live action and I was going to film it in my garden. The trouble was, apart from being, what's that normal? Yeah, that's not. Oh, the thing about things. Yes, the trouble was I was really tired yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to film it in my garden. But in the next door garden, it sounded like they had 1 billion people. They can probably hear me now. Very thin walls. It sounded like they had about 1 billion people in, and I didn't really want to go out in the garden with 1 billion people. Also, it was very noisy, so I made it with puppets and bears instead, and then that's the reason for that. maybe it would have been epic with me playing all the parts. But it's not got live action, and it's not got the outside. It's just got a little room, some very poor lighting, and some very interesting props, including a pumpkin, because it's Halloween. You have to have a pumpkin in a Halloween thing. I ordered one online. I saw it was the pumpkin that you saw last week, which it turns out was just as well. Because the thing is, if it was live action, that pumpkin is very small. If you're using hand puppets, that pumpkin is very big. It's a very big pumpkin for a hand puppet. There's a hand puppet. There's a pumpkin. Just have to imagine it. Yeah, so that's more than enough. Handfuls more than enough, as they say, don't they? About other things, actually, not about this. Hello, the green machine. So we've got 6 whole people and a like. You are really spoiling me with this. Yes. I just seen a belt. I'm just because I have actually, I was trying to lose weight and I didn't lose weight, but I think I've lost enough weight in that my trousers that I was trying to get them to fit me because they weren't fitting me, and now they don't fit me because they're sort of too loose. But I've just found this belt, so I can tie this around. It's not really a very practical belt, really, but it's better than nothing. At least my trousers won't fall around my ankles if I've got this on, and it's decorative. It's a strange belt. But yeah, I'll use that. Are my scales accurate? I don't know. I seem to have lost a tiny bit of weight now. It's gone down. It's finally gone down, but it didn't go down for ages. It was pretty much the same. But I'm still. See, I found a post. Facebook pops up posts from 4 or 5 years ago or whenever. There was a post from 5 years ago that I was trying to lose weight, and I was like, yay, I'm down to 60 kilograms. I started off at 68 kilograms and now I'm down to 60 kilograms, and I'm not sure that's true, Boheme, but all right then. But I was like, yes, and it had taken me probably about 2 months, maybe a month, not very long, to lose that. And I was like, because I'm more than I started with then. So I was down to 60 kilograms then, but I'm still more than I started before I started trying to lose weight 5 years ago. So that's really what you get from trying to lose weight. You just end up putting on more and more and more and more and more. So probably don't do that. But I'm doing a lot of walking, so that probably will make some difference. Anyway, I haven't really been eating less this weekend because it's cold and I was miserable, and it's easier to eat when you're just stuck in the house. And that's probably the problem why I needed to lose weight in the first place, from the first 4 or 5 months of lockdown. And then the last, I got chocolate in my tea. No, it might just be the gap. I just had some chocolate. So, yeah, that looks weird. What's going on there? No, it's just a gap in my teeth. I'm just getting paranoid now. A weird gap in my. I don't look fat, but I'm still more than I started with 5 years ago when I was only losing weight to get into my clothes. So I'm sort of. I think maybe my clothes have grown. Since then I might have bought bigger clothes because they've only just now started to fit back again. I'm not sure. So a week to go, and then I've got half term off, and then I can have a sleep for several days because this weekend is not enough. I mean, I made the puppet film. I did a voiceover for somebody for Feline Cake Party, which I do voices for, and possibly the Green Machine. And I did a Zoom call about the Free Fringe, and now I'm doing this. So it's been quite a busy week. I still feel like I haven't done enough, but I'm very tired. I was very tired, and you can tell. You can look in my face. I'm like catching a glimpse of myself going, oh my gosh, the haunted look. And, haunted. I think maybe it's just the camera, or the angle, or the lighting. All of the above, or the fact that I do look haunted. But who doesn't? Let's be honest. Haunted is the look of 2020. That's what everybody's looking like these days, isn't it? Everybody's looking like a haunted person. Yay! Halloween. That's very good. Thank you. Yes, okay, Nodfather, it's fine. But I mean, I was bigger. That I know that I was blackberry picking at in Wales in maybe June or July, and my dad took some pictures, and I looked at the pictures and went, "Oh no!" So that's a while ago. No Halloween for you. It's still Halloween. It's still Halloween, even if you don't think it's Halloween. Halloween! Ah! This stand isn't working properly. I'm gonna have to prop it up. Yeah. So I've got a pumpkin and I've got some apples. I can eat some apples. That's Halloweeny. I'm not going to bob for apples or put them on strings and go for them because that's unhygienic and it's really not suitable for these things. No, trick-or-treaters. We don't get trick-or-treaters around here anyway, really. I mean, every year I've sort of got enough treats just in case any trick-or-treaters come. We turn all the lights off just in case so that they don't come. But nobody comes, and then we eat all the treats. So it's all right. You just get enough for just in case, and then you eat them all. That's the way you do Halloween. But Halloween. I think in Scotland and Wales and Ireland, probably Halloween, and America, obviously. In England, maybe everyone goes, "Oh, we don't do Halloween. Halloween's not a thing." It's like, well, no, frankly, because you're English heathens, and everywhere else does Halloween because we like the old ways of the Celts and the Picts and the old-fashioned people before in the pagany times. Yes, that's why we're the real people. Yeah. Well, we've been doing a lot. I think I said last week we've been doing a lot of history in school, and yeah, so I've caught up on stuff that we didn't necessarily learn when I was at school, and then I do some background research as well. The Celts, the whole thing about the Celts, I said it last week. The Celts are from all over the place. So I don't think really, even if you've got a lot of Celtic genes, you can't really say that you're originally from this area. Penny for the guy, that's a very grim thing. That is more Halloweeny than Halloween, really. That whole thing, it's a Wicker Man type scenario with Penny for the guy. That whole let's burn the traitor on a big pyre in symbolic sacrifice. Yeah. The last part of The Shining. I haven't seen that. That's Ewan McGregor. I should probably see that. Somebody said that they saw my film Exorcism when I brought up the fact that my flatmate didn't like my Halloween film. He said, "Oh, is this the one you mean? Exorcism, I enjoy it." He enjoyed it. So somebody has seen it at least 3 times and enjoyed Exorcism. So I would recommend you go and find Exorcism. I haven't actually seen Exorcism because my flatmate that didn't like my Halloween film told me that he thought that was a terrible film too. So I've just gone, oh, okay, fair enough. And not seen it and felt ashamed and bitter ever since. But it was in Asda on the shelves and in HMV on the shelves. So it was available to buy in actual shops, and it's on Amazon now, even though it's got very low stars on Amazon. I believe the producer and director told me that was because one of the other producers had a vendetta and decided he was jealous and actually is the person responsible for all those 1-star reviews, but I might be wrong. Maybe I'm bad-mouthing people and I probably shouldn't do that, but yeah, then you'll never work again, probably. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I was told. It might not be true. It might just be that everyone's giving it a 1-star review. But I enjoyed working on it, and that's all that counts, isn't it? Probably not. Yeah, I'm sort of wishing it would become a cult classic like The Room or something like that. Or what's that thing? There is a horror movie that is really big and everybody watches it even though it's terrible. I can't remember what it's called. There was a documentary about it. I can't remember. Did I get paid for it? I've got a contract that says I should. I sort of did get paid for it, but not as much as probably. I don't know. It depends on whether it goes in profit now, and I don't know. And it's only for the first 10 years, and I don't know how long it's been out now. So that's, yeah. If it gets loads of profit? I don't know whether it was in the 10 years after it was made or the 10 years after it was released. It was a bit of a vague contract is the problem. Residuals, yeah, no. The trouble with that is you don't get paid residuals if the DVD gets sold in Britain. In other countries, yes, but you don't get paid if the DVD gets sold, and you don't get paid from streaming on Amazon. If it went on Netflix or the TV, yeah, you get residuals. But it's a very complicated system. Yeah, if it was on the television, I probably would get residuals, but I would have to probably fight for them and make sure that I got my fair share. But it is complicated that Amazon doesn't actually pay for streaming residuals for the people in it. So I questioned this, and I was like, but that's not fair. It was like, oh, and I said something about the people that were in charge of sorting it out. And I said about video on demand. I was like, is video on demand, do you get paid for residuals for video on demand? And they were like, what do you mean, like if you demand a video and you go to the shops and I'm like, no, video on demand, it's where you get, and they didn't know what I was talking about. So it's a very bad sign if the people that are in charge of trying to negotiate to get you money for that sort of thing don't actually know what any of the things are. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is never going to work, is it? So that's quite sad. Amazon doesn't pay, no. And other things don't either. Well, I mean, if they make their own content, Amazon pays. But if you're just like paying for one of the downloads, you don't get paid. If you buy the DVD, you get. If it's the funny thing is, if this was an old-fashioned Blockbuster type scenario, if my DVD was in Blockbuster and you rented that DVD, I would get some money. Probably not very much money, but a couple of pence every year. But because there is no such thing as Blockbuster anymore and people do not rent DVDs, they either buy them if they're going to have them or they stream. Pretty much no hope of ever getting any money ever for anything. And yes, so it's very sad. Very, very sad. Well, if it was 1980, I would have made a fortune probably from all because there was video shops everywhere. And I know in the early days of VHS and stuff, there wasn't that very many videos in the video shops. So me and my brother used to go down with my dad and we used to pick a video to watch, and we got some absolute rubbish from there. But because there wasn't very much to choose from, I don't think that many people had. I think we were some of the. VHSs have been around for probably a long time before we had one, but because we were getting them from like radio rentals or something, I can't remember. I think Dixon's or whoever it was that used to rent video players and TVs. We used to rent our video. And we were some of the first people I know that got the VHS player, and it had a remote control, but the remote control wasn't like actually remote. It had like strings like this attached to it, and you'd plug it in, and then you go far away and hope you wouldn't trip over it. This is a very long time in the past. But if this was then I would have got some money. But it's not. These days are now. Everything is like when I was working in journalism, the rates that they gave to everyone, I did a bit of freelancing, it was very low per word you got paid. And somebody that had been working like 20 or 30 years ago pointed out that it was the same rate per word as it was then. So but inflation had way gone up. So yeah, it was like in the days where you could get a house for 15 to 20,000, it was at the same rate as when, you know, the house is $1 million. The very same house is $1 million, but you're on the same rate. So this is why nobody works anymore. And when they do work, they don't get any money. And it's very sad. And that's why the government said that Fatima should retrain in cyber. She should retrain as a Cyberman. That was their actual advice. So that's what happened in Torchwood, isn't it? The whole of Torchwood got retrained as Cybermen. And that's what happened to that lovely dancer as well. That whole... Yeah, so that's very sinister, that Cyberman poster, wasn't it? Yes, making us all be Cybermen. Irresponsible, I think. Anyway, that's what happens when you end up living in Mondas. Yeah, the costume parties per word. Yeah, I don't know. the big ones probably pay more per word, but I certainly, any of the things, the publications that I worked for, didn't pay that much really. And the one year where I did lots and lots and lots of extra freelance work and got a very fair, still not as much as the average wage at that time, that the average salary was something like 22,000 in the early 2000s, and the most I got after getting about 6,000 or 7,000 worth of freelance work on top of my wages was £20,000. So that really worked out well for me. And then because I was doing it through the same company, they decided that that wasn't fair because I'd been doing too much work and that I was just. So that's why I don't do that anymore. Various other reasons as well. I just got narked with it. Oh, I don't know what the future will bring. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's just all very depressing, isn't it? It's like, who knows what will happen in the future? Who knows what will happen now? Who knows what will happen next week? Nobody, because everything gets announced at the very last minute. And you're like, well, I can't prepare for that. I don't know what's happening anymore. It's all very strange and sad. It's very pale and washed out, this picture, isn't it? I'm not sure whether maybe I'll use the nice warmer filter or something. No filter, and you can tell as well. Oh my goodness me. I don't know, nobody's talked to me for a couple of minutes. Has everyone gone away? Gone away, hiding. What did journalists focus on? Well, because I worked for a TV magazine and before that local papers, when I worked for the local papers, it was usually about dial-a-ride and local football teams and I'm back again. Yay, I'm back again, I'm live. Yeah, no, the local papers were mainly about, like, we did a lot of stories about people that had gone away and come back and started a new business, or, yes, this was Frozen. I did a sort of, it was Frozen 3, that's what I was doing, Frozen 3. Refresh worked sort of, I think it was just a coincidence. Yeah, so when I was working on the magazine for the TV, it was mostly stuff about the reboot of that thing. I did a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer articles, and I interviewed a lot of people that were in things like Atlantis, and I didn't interview anybody from Atlantis. I don't know why. That was sort of towards the end. Definitely from Stargate. I interviewed somebody from Stargate, and yeah, I can't remember what. Battlestar Galactica. I was trying to think what the name of it. I interviewed Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica on the phone, and also I interviewed one of the. I interviewed two of the lone gunmen, but I interviewed one of them twice. The blonde one with the glasses. I interviewed him on the phone, and then I interviewed him in person a few months later. And the thing is, he didn't want to talk about the lone gunman, the newest Battlestar Galactica. I've actually written. I'm thinking about it. I met Apollo from the original, and he complimented me on my dress. I met him at a when I was working, sort of semi-working, I was sort of at a convention, and I wasn't working and I wasn't a guest. I was sort of halfway in between. I was in the sort of guest room, but anyway, whatever. It was so I met the original Apollo, and I interviewed the new Starbuck for that. Oh, and I interviewed the guy that played Hercules' sidekick. What's his name? Michael, what's his name? I can't remember his name. I had a sort of crush on him too. I had a picture of him on my desktop, dressed as a sort of semi-naked angel, and everyone said, "Oh, that's very homoerotic. Take it off your desk." And I'm like, "But I'm a woman and he's a man, so how is that homoerotic?" And it was like, okay, whatever. Be gone with you and your silly fancies, whatever. Anyway, I can't remember what his name was. I interviewed a lot of people, basically. A lot of people. You name it, and I've interviewed them. And then you'll name a million people who will go, oh, not that person. Not that person. I interviewed somebody from Buffy. Yeah, it was. Can you guess who I interviewed from Buffy? Nobody's going to guess. So I will tell you it was Anthony Head. Anthony Stewart Head. Tony Blair, yeah, Tony Blair from Buffy. That's exactly right, Bohem. I interviewed Tony Blair from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah. Oh, there, I've untangled my lovely belt. Lovely belt. Starbuck. Dirk. No, yes, I didn't interview Dirk from Face from the A-Team. I talked to Apollo from the original and the new Starbuck, who was a woman from the new one. And I sat behind the Doctor from Battlestar Galactica at the launch of, it might have been Battlestar Galactica. That's right. Now I come to think of it, it's like, what was the Doctor from Battlestar Galactica doing at a screening? Why was he at screening? Oh yes, it was a screening of Battlestar Galactica. What an idiot I am. Obviously it was. And I got a free t-shirt of Battlestar Galactica from that, which I think I might still have somewhere. Thinking about it, I think I know where it might be. It's in a drawer. Yeah, so I got a nice t-shirt, but it's quite tight, so I'd have to lose a lot more weight if I wanted to wear that. You lady hoo. Why you lady hoo? Anyway, yeah. I don't know. I interviewed a lot of people. Anyway, basically, this is just me droning on about, oh, I met this person, and I met this other person, and I met this person, and I met Wency Willis at a writers conference thing where we were both learning about playwriting, and everyone's like, who's Wency Willis? She gave me a lift home. That was before I was working at the TV magazine, and I was ever so chuffed at meeting Wency Willis, because I'd met a few famous people before that, like Labby Sifri at a poetry group, and Jake Thackeray, who nobody knows, who complimented me on my poems once. But I didn't know who Jake Thackeray was, but somebody told me, yes, she was a Wency, and so was Wency Willis, and so was Michael Fish. John Ketley was a weatherman. Is John Ketley still a weatherman? Is he still alive? Anyway, I don't know who that is. I keep thinking it's half man, half biscuit, but it's not. It's somebody else. So the John Ketley was weatherman. And I think I heard that at a video shop that I was thinking about. When I was thinking about the video shop that I used to visit, that particular song was playing one time there. It's all coming back to me now. Yeah, with the terrible videos. Being a weather girl is a step into the media. Well, I suppose a weather girl is the media, but seeing as I was working as a journalist, that is also a step into the media, because that is the media. The media is the message, as Marshall McClure said. Did Marshall McClure say that? Am I saying, is it Doug McClure? Doug McClure, who was Trampus apparently. This is before my time. The only reason I know that Doug McClure was Trampus is apparently my mum, when she was at home, her and her brothers had a running joke that every time they saw Doug McClure in something, they go, it's Trampus. So they thought that was hilarious. So when I first saw Doug McClure, when I think he was in that thing where there was an alien, Down to Earth, whatever it was called. Yeah, Doug McClure, not Dumbledore, Doug McClure. They go, it's Trampus. So I can't even remember anything anymore. It had Would You Like to Swing on a Star, and her name was Evie, and her mother was Donna, who was the girlfriend in the original Saturday Night Fever who got dumped, and Doug McClure was the mayor. And I can't remember. I remember everything about it except for what it was called. What was that called? It wasn't called Small Wonder, because Small Wonder was about a girl who was a robot. The other one, Hello from Hickory, North Carolina. Can you remember what that was called? It was because they used to show things in the morning, and they used to show Perfect Strangers with Balky, and they used to show Small Wonder, and then they used to show Out of This World. I'm going to say it's called Out of This World. I don't know why I'm remembering this. It's like the end of my life flashing back. It's like, oh no, I'm a bit worried now. All these things flashing back to me like it's the end of the world. Alas Smith and Jones. Oh, Alias Smith and Jones. Alas Smith and Jones was a completely different thing. Alias Smith and Jones also before my time, but they used to repeat these things on BBC Two in much the way that they used to repeat Charlie Chaplin. And it's not a repeat if it's a film, is it? And Laurel and Hardy. Yes, I do remember Tiswas. It wasn't. I used to be more of a swap shop person because I was a terrible person, really. In retrospect, I only watched Swap Shop because my brother liked Tiswas, and he used to like it a lot. And I pretended I liked Swap Shop because that was classy, and they had a toy dinosaur and Noel Edmonds. And in retrospect, I'm like, I made the wrong decision. Tiswas was where it was at. I should have gone for the Tiswas, yeah. But because my brother liked it, I obviously couldn't like it because then that would be copying my brother. And also, he's my brother. I can't like the same thing that my brother likes, can I? So yeah, I think probably Tiswas was better than Swap Shop. I'll admit that now. But I used to have brand loyalty to the BBC. Is it the Virginian had Doug McClure? If he was Trampus in that, I'm going to take your word for it. But I never saw the Virginian. I know a lot of things that happened before I was born. Small Wonder is she's a small wonder, which also La Petite Merveilleuse is what it was called in France, because when I visited my cousins in France, that was one of the things that they did show. And they also had Punky Brewster translated into French. Punky Brewster is not something that they showed in Britain, but I did see it in France. I think I also saw Allo Allo that was translated into French, which was something to see. Anyway, I've gone on for long enough. I've wasted your time for long enough. This has been my 1000th video. Amazing. Station Tiswas. Yes, exactly. I don't think it was something that you could actually understood. Doug McClure was with Peter Cushing. What do you mean with Peter Cushing? Like he was his boyfriend or something? I don't think so. What? No. Starting rumours all over the place. I think that's my rumour. I think I'm. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about now. Michael Hurst, that's his name, Michael Hurst. Yes, he was in Hercules, wasn't he? He was what the? I wrote fan fiction about it and everything. I absolutely did write Hercules fan fiction. I can't believe it. He wasn't the angel in Hercules. He wasn't an angel in Hercules. He was the sidekick. Yeah. How do you know it's 1,000 vids? Because my friend Michelle said it was. I think I've actually made more than that, but some of them have got deleted and some of them are private. But it's officially, unofficially, sort of about 1,000, give or take. We'll say 1,000. It's 1,000 videos. Yay! And Michael Hurst was called Achilles and oh, I can't remember what his name was. That's terrible, wasn't it? And I wrote fan fiction about it and everything, which you can go looking for, but you won't find because there's a lot of Hercules fan fiction about it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I will see you soon. Gilligan's Island wasn't really shown in this country either, although I do know all about Gilligan's Island and stuff about that. I don't know all about it, but I know enough. Anyway, I'm going to go. Bye-bye.